What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another fun-filled episode of the PlayStation Drive. This is episode 51. My name's Matt, and I'll be your host for this Drive's events. Rolling with me in the car, as always, Captain Canada himself, Mr. Court Lalonde. Court, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. My YouTube didn't update, but hey, that's just like normal things now that things don't work for me.
Yeah,
Shocker.
of course, normal things happening all the time normally, as we like them to
But
do.
no, yeah, I'm having a day, but I'm here. That's all that matters.
I feel you, dude. I feel ya. I'm with you. But we're going to talk a bunch of PlayStation stuff. We're going to be talking about sales numbers. We're going to be talking about Gotham Knights and a whole bunch more. So strap in and get ready to roll. But before we get any deeper, if you're here watching us live on YouTube over at youtube.com/carpoolgaming, make sure you hit that like, that subscribe, hit that bell so you get notified every time we go live with all of the amazing content that you can find over here and hang out with us. Make sure you also head over to patreon.com/carpoolgaming. If you want to toss a couple bucks in the old tip jar, you'll have plenty more content come out. It helps support us with everything that we do and helps us grow, helps us get even bigger and give you even more amazing content. So head over there and do that if you can. Join us on Discord where we hang out and talk all things all the time. Like for example, for today, when I was right and Court was wrong, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Wow, dude, you don't. Dude, seriously.
And if you're listening to this on your podcast service of choice, make sure you hit us with the subscribe, the follow, whatever it is, and the 5 stars. It helps us grow, helps us connect to new audiences, and brings this PlayStation Drive madness all around the world. Now, my friend, let's get into it because, it's been a sec. I was away from the show last week because I got stuck in Dallas. So I want to hear about Court. I want to hear about the playlist. Let's hear about what you've been playing. What's been going on, my friend?
Yes, myself and Ryan, I guess we're carpool gaming last week. Because we did both PlayStation Drive and the Xbox. Ryan just pretty much did every show except Nintendo Drive. What am I playing? Well, I am still playing MLB The Show religiously. And today, Yay Sports, I pulled the Mike Trout card, which is like, that's a big deal. That's like pulling a the rarest of the rarest Pokemon. If I want to try and speak your language.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you connecting with me on my level so I can appreciate this more. That's awesome.
So yes, I pulled the card. Like this, like it's the hardest card to get. It out of nowhere, I pulled it, and I was in shock. I was just like, oh my god, I pulled Mike Trout. So today I had a great morning of pulling the Mike Trout card, which I was in shock of. And that's what it's the only thing I am playing. I did download Kingdoms of Amalur.
Okay,
finally,
nice.
That what I reclaimed from PS Plus a while back. I did finally download that onto my console, and I think I'm going to start playing that to maybe just take myself away because I'm probably playing about 2.5 to 3 hours of MLB The Show a day. Yeah.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
And like, it's awesome that it's still resonating with you so much. I mean, you got the pull. So hold on. Is there a goal now? Like you've got the card. I assume that, the card that you were hunting for. What's the next goal? Is there like a next,
There's always, it keeps going. So you have to build the card collection. So I have every team but the Angels, the Atlanta Braves, and the New York Mets. Now, I just got and the San Diego Padres. So some of the hardest teams. I do have the Jays, which is a very hard team to collect because these cards are worth money and you've got to collect all the cards.
Okay.
And then once you collect them, you get to unlock other things. So if I unlock all the Angels, so I need the Shohei Ohtani card, which then will help me because then that's the next rarest card. And then I would need the Acuna card out of the Braves, and then I would guess the Tatis card because I already have the Machado card. Like I have majority of the cards I need.
Right.
Once you have that, then you get I would unlock the Michael Taylor, which would then I would put into my collection because you make collections out of it, and then that would unlock the Frank Thomas, and then I would have the Roberto Clemente, and I unlock both of them together, and I would get the Randy Johnson. There's a thing that it will keep going. I'm gonna do it. I 100% will get that done this year. And then it'll be like a vindication thing. But yes, I think I do need a break. And I was thinking about either doing Mafia 1, the remake, which I have. I got it at Christmas for like $10. I love that series, or doing Kingdoms of Amalur. And I think I know people have said it's whatever, but I love that game. That game, like when I think about my PS3, I think of that game. I played a lot of Kingdoms of Amalur, so I think that's the game I'm probably going to go to next, and I'll get lost in it and play it for hours. It's like Fable on the Xbox to me. It's a game where I can just go in and I'll get lost forever.
Nice. I downloaded it and I still haven't checked it out. I never got the chance to play it back in the PS3 days, so I have it like sitting on my cross media bar, whatever you want to call it. So that might be something I have to jump into as well. As for myself, I finished Ghostwire Tokyo. I think it took me something like 10 to 12 hours. The game is like I was doing a bunch of side quests at first, and then I was like, I'm just gonna play the main story, and it was good. It was good. Like the game, I enjoyed it for what it was. A lot of the side content didn't feel as meaningful as I think it should, and like there was some bumps along the road, but like the game was fun. The gameplay's solid. Tokyo itself is a cool, like it's realized in a cool way, but still just feels like it's there's not enough there to kind of keep you going, and it's a little on the shorter side for like a open world game than I think I expected, which isn't inherently an issue. But it's for me, Ghostwire Tokyo is like another one of those wait for a sale. Like I think it's on sale right now, but like I bought it right at launch just because again, it was a game I was really looking forward to, and I don't regret it, but I feel like I wouldn't have minded waiting a little bit longer and picking it up on sale.
Now, a question for you. You have Deathloop, correct?
I do.
Are you jumping back in now with the photo mode?
Probably not. Photo mode isn't usually enough of a thing for me to jump back in. I like very rarely use photo modes. I think the one I used most was like across either like Marvel Spider-Man or Horizon Forbidden West. I used a lot of the photo modes in that, but I don't generally mess with photo modes too much.
Okay. I saw it. I look at both those games as someone who owns both consoles. 100% when it comes to Game Pass, I'll play both of them. But I'm actually looking forward now more to Ghostwire Tokyo when you're telling me it's only 10 hours.
Yeah.
I think I've almost gotten to the point where games that take too long to finish, I got Valhalla really irked me. Mind you, I can't believe I'm going to say. So I finished it on the PS5. It was the very first game that I played on my PS5. I wanted it to be that because the first game on my PS4 was Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I was like, all right, so I'm going to do Assassin's Creed. Mm-hmm. I turned it on and then I played Astrobot, but I still made it first. And that was 90 plus hours.
Jeez.
Yeah, well, because I'm that guy that has to finish every side quest.
Check all the boxes.
So I got the true ending because there literally is a true ending in that game. And then I finished it again on my Xbox, but I just mainlined it and did it in 40 hours.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. No, Ghostwire is a much like more sizable bite. Like I actually enjoyed the length of it, but it definitely wait for Game Pass or wait for a sale. Like the game is good. It's just I don't know if it's worth the full, especially for Canada, $90 price tag. And the other thing I checked out was Ghost Runner because I think that's one of our PlayStation Plus games this month. And that's like
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think it's this month, the month of May. It's a game again that I've had my eye on for a really long time and just never pulled the trigger on. And I hopped in last night, and man, Court, that game is hard. Like it starts slapping you around right from the get go, and I think that I don't know. I can't tell if it's one of those things where I just haven't really nailed down the controls yet, or if it's just not as tight as it should be. Like there are moves and like abilities that I'm trying to use, or like enemies that I'm trying to get through, and it's like one shot and you're down, right? So like you go back to a checkpoint and then you have to keep trying to work your way through these levels. But like there's a section right now that I'm on that has like 6 or 8 enemies, and it's like again, if one of them clips you, you're out. Like restart, you have to work through all of those.
Sounds too hard for me. I'm out. I'm out.
And it's like the parkour is awesome, and like the flowing around the levels is really really cool. But like again, if you're not like 100% precisely on, like you're done. And I don't know if the controls hold up enough for it to kind of function in that way. So I'm going to go back to it. I've only probably spent about 2 hours with it so far. So I'm going to go back to it because again, like when it clicks and when you're actually moving and it's flowing, it's awesome. But it's not exactly like the initial grab and pull that like Sifu was, that I think I was expecting Ghost Runner to be. So it's fine. It's fine.
Ghost Runner was last month, so this month is FIFA 22.
That's
Tribes
right.
of Midgard and Curse of the Dead Gods.
Yes, you're right. So Ghost Runner was last month, April. But yeah. All right, my friend. Well, let's slam on the brakes and talk about some breaking news because we have a bunch of
breaking news.
Breaking news. Because we have a whole bunch to talk about. Let's get started with actually the most recent story that just dropped earlier today, coming from IGN, written by Kat Bailey. Dead Space Remake gets release date and a load of new concept art. The brand new Dead Space Remake officially has a release date, with EA announcing during a stream that the updated version of the beloved survival horror game will be out January 27th, 2023. And also, I think they said that it's going to be this fall that we get like a full reveal of the game around Halloween. So there you go. We know the date. I think it's coming sooner than at least I expected, with it supposedly launching in January of next year. Now, I've never played Dead Space Court. What does this news do for you? Are you excited about this remake?
Buddy, hype level through the roof. Dead Space is one of my favorite games. I am not a horror game guy like Ryan, but I truly like, because I did like the early Resident Evil, and then I just stopped getting into it, and I couldn't get back into the remake. But Dead Space is one of those games where just like all I think about right now is a part in there where it's like zero gravity and it's almost like a game, and you get to, I don't know. It's so good. And I know it's such an old game, but I don't want to give anything away. I get it. It's an old, I get all that stuff, but it is so good. Like the weapons, the story, the going through on the trains throughout the thing, the jump scares, like, oh my God, it's good.
So that actually makes me more excited about it, because I'm not a horror game guy either. And to hear that you're not generally a horror game person, but this game kind of stood out to you. So here's my next question then. Do you think I should check out the original before I hop into the remake? No?
Honestly, no. I tried playing it not too long ago. Old game old. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
It's definitely old game old. So I would suggest to go in and just wait for the new one. It looks beautiful. I am okay with remasters. A lot of people don't like the remasters and all that, but if they're doing remasters from the ground up, I'm all for it. Give them to me all day long. We got the announcement of the Xbox showcase, and I know you and I, all we want is a PlayStation showcase as well. And we want this PlayStation showcase so we can finally see this rumored Last of Us game that we know is a thing.
Right.
Like, there's so many LinkedIn profiles working on said game. Just show me this Last of Us PS5 version, and I can't wait to play it. Right. Like, and I think Dead Space it's a PS3 game. So it's Xbox 360, PS3. So those games, you'll see the difference if they're doing it from the ground up. You know, I'm gonna scream until it happens, but just give us an Infamous. Just redo them.
God, please, so badly. I mean, like, rumors are that Sly's around the corner, so hopefully Infamous is imminent as well.
Give me Infamous first.
I agree. I agree.
Bring Cole back.
Bring Cole back. 100%. So I mean, we'll find out more around Halloween. I'm excited to take a look and to see, how the new remake is coming along. But we will see in October. Our next news story, sticking to the EA train, coming from IGN once again, written by Rebecca Valentine. EA teases 4 games in 2023, including a new remake and a major IP. So it seems like we're getting more than just Dead Space. But we also see the 4 big enticing unknowns: a major IP, a partner title, a remake, and a sports title. So we know that so far this year for Q4 2022, we are getting F1 22 in Q1, FIFA and Madden in Q2, Need for Speed and NHL in Q3, and in Q4 is just PGA Tour. So we got Dead Space. We know that's coming. Dead Space is the remake. But we're
getting Star Wars.
So now
Let's just keep...
You think
getting
so?
Star Wars.
You think so?
We're getting Jedi Fallen Order 2.
Really? You didn't hear?
Yes.
I think wasn't Jeff Grubb just saying that it's hitting like fall of next
2023.
year?
It's 2023 we'll get it. I don't think we're getting it this year.
Yeah.
We're gonna get what? When's the Star Wars Celebration is May the 4th just happened, but Star Wars Celebration is May. May the 4th just happened.
Yeah.
But Celebration is what, next week? Hold on, I'll look it up. We're gonna find out then.
Yeah, because
Star Wars Celebration has that's when we'll get Jedi Fallen Order. I was positive we were getting it this year, but if Grubb says we're not, then we're not.
Right, I know.
But if we're getting a remake of an EA game, and we already know Dead Space is coming next year, and it says that the remake is coming this year?
No, next year. So if this is for 2023, there are 4 major games that are apparently hitting in 2023: a major IP, a partner title, a remake, and a sports title.
Okay, so Jedi Fallen Order trailer, it will be May 26th.
Okay.
That's Star Wars Celebration. If Dead Space is already one of them, and we know Battlefield is, unless we're getting Bad Company.
Do you think that it's time for them to show, because I mean we already know that they're working on Dragon Age and Mass Effect. Do you think either one of those could be their major IP?
Well, if they
Because the
well,
partner
Dragon
title,
Age is very far away. The only one that I think they could sneak one in is, okay, so they've been working on a Mass Effect since what? Since the death of Anthem. So when did Anthem die?
a couple of years ago now.
So no, it wouldn't be ready yet then. Or is the Anthem team working on Dragon Age? I'd have to look this all up.
Mhm.
I usually when we get a remastered of a game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Usually when we get a remaster of a game, it ends up meaning that they're working on said game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we know they're working on a mind you, we got what, that poster of Mass Effect. So could it be Mass Effect?
And that's what I mean. I would hope that they're kind of following, you know,
Wow, I did a whole thing there to
right?
get to where I needed to be.
But
Yeah.
like, I wonder if like they're possibly following the kind of Bethesda style of announcement and then kind of hitting within 6 months. Like maybe we'll get like the full rollout of Mass Effect early next year with it launching next fall, like next fall, early winter. I could totally see that possibly being a thing.
I wish it was Dragon Age.
I wish it was Dragon Age too. I also wish it was Dragon Age, but I don't know, man. And then like, well, I guess
What's your remastered? What's your remastered game? It's not Dragon Age or Mass Effect. Those are not remasters. Those are new games.
Those are new games.
Because the Mass Effect thing has the whole thing of the Geth in it. Like that's.
It's just so interesting to me because they've been so against remasters and remakes for so long, and now they seem to be going full board with Mass Effect and everything else. I mean,
so what else EA franchise? Okay, we already know we're getting Dead Space. That's why I still think we're getting a Bad Company, because that's like the one franchise. Okay, Battlefield has been terrible.
Yep.
Bad Company was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
If they redid the Bad Company, you know, the one that had like the grenade on it with the happy face?
Yeah.
Give me that game again.
I agree. Yeah, Bad Company, like I played the living daylights out of Bad Company 2 and Bad Company 3. So like I would love to get on that. Do you think it could be Medal of Honor? Do you think they'd take another swing at that?
That would be really nice. Not Airborne though. I want Medal of Honor. I don't want Airborne.
Could they even possibly doing like, I don't know if they would do like a remake or a remaster of a Need for Speed game if they're launching a new Need for Speed
I don't want any
this
more.
year?
I don't want any more of those.
Yeah, and I mean like for like the partner game, we could also possibly be a new Joseph Fares game, the guy who did It Takes Two and whatever. Like that seems
Would
like
Star Wars be considered a partner game?
it might be. That's what I mean.
Because we're I'm gonna say this: we're definitely getting Jedi Fallen Order next year.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Like
Like,
it's happening.
Yeah, I that has to be.
Like what? I guarantee you, on between May 26th and May 29th for Star Wars Celebration, we will see a trailer of that. We will see a trailer of possibly that unannounced game they're working on with Xbox, and a third game.
Yeah, and I mean like. I think you might be right. I think Star Wars is definitely one of them, and I think we might get like the release year. I don't know if they're going to give us a release date for, you know, Star Wars, but they're probably going to say like 2023 at the end of Celebration. But tune in, we'll find out as
another game that they didn't want to. We're not making single player games, and then all of a sudden they make that game, and they're like, hey, you know what? We'll change our mind.
Maybe we will make single player games. Never mind. Let's talk about one more third part, a couple more third parties before we dig into more first party stuff. But one of the big stories that's been circulating this week, FIFA will develop new soccer games following split with EA. This is coming from IGN, written by George Yang. With the announcement of EA and FIFA split, FIFA will work with other third-party developers to launch new soccer games, and non-simulation games are already in the works and are planned to release in Q3 2022. His statement's ridiculous. I'm not even going to bother reading it. He talks about, FIFA 24, 25, 26. No word on who's going to be developing it. And EA's FIFA series will now be called EA Sports FC. So here's my question, Court, because you're much more in the sports game sphere than I am. Does this matter? Will EA Sports Game continue to be the top seller, or do you think the FIFA name is more important, regardless of who we know is developing it?
Well, according to Sean Capri, it does. To me, I would like to see the proof is in the pudding. We get one more FIFA game this year. The FIFA name is pretty tainted in the football world. And the people that buy this call it football, not soccer. It's soccer here in North America, but it's your biggest audience is in Europe. There is Pro Evolution Soccer from Konami that's a phenomenal game, but I don't it's not in the echelon, and it doesn't have the roster sharing and so on and so forth, that the investment that people have put into this.
Right.
And as long as they still have the team names, which they will, and they'll have the players' names, which they will, changing it to FC, I don't think it's going to decrease their sales by almost anything. I think the game itself, if it's going to decrease sales, it's based on like them not changing the game. But I don't see, FIFA putting out a game. We've seen this before where if the gameplay ain't there, no one cares.
Right.
When Madden's called Madden, like I don't see it actually mattering. If NHL NHL used to be called NHLPA hockey for way back in the day. If the NHL game was now to be called, instead of NHL 22, is NHLPA 23, and it's EA, I'm still buying it. MLB The Show, if it was called just MLB, as long as the gameplay is there and the mechanics are all there, I'm still buying the game. As someone that buys sports games a lot, I don't think it changes my mind. Sean brought up the example of Tiger Woods, and it's a very good one when it became Rory McIlroy. But that game was actually declining in sales beforehand because Tiger Woods' popularity was declining.
Right. Okay.
It's a little, but he is right though. Royal McIlroy Golf didn't do well, and the game wasn't that good.
So,
but the game wasn't that good.
That's
as long as
right?
FIFA is there, and if you look up the numbers on the FIFA games on the microtransactions, they're ridiculous.
Incredible.
And I don't see someone leaving that. Like, they've already invested all this money and they're going to put it somewhere else. That's a tough one.
Well, that, and especially like you mentioned, so we are getting another FIFA game this year that will be coming from EA. What's going to happen next year? I don't imagine FIFA is ready to go with another developer already working on a sports game. So like, when is it going to be time for them to kind of roll back out? Would it be 2024? That just gives EA more time for EA Sports FC or whatever they're going to call it.
Yeah, well, that's what it's EA Sports FC, but whatever they're going to call it. Yeah, it's an FC game. But you're right there. If there is no FIFA game, then they're already that game.
Yep.
So, and then once people like it once, it's over.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Like
look what 2K did. NBA 2K. They took over NBA Live, and it didn't matter.
Exactly.
It's the gameplay. It's not the name. It's the gameplay. Especially in sports games. If someone came out and made a better hockey game, people would stop buying EA Sports NHL all day long.
Well, then there you go. I guess we'll find out. I'm really curious just to see how this falls out. But I guess we'll see. Let's move on to one of our big topics of the show this week, coming from once again from IGN. Gotham Knights gameplay demo reveals new combat activity and traversal details. This is written by Matt Purslow. We got a new 13-minute gameplay demo for Gotham Knights that revealed a closer look at Nightwing and Red Hood, two of the game's playable heroes. The demo shows off some of their combat and traversal mechanics, as well as a look at how gear works, some crime activities, and a rumble with the Court of Owls. Similarly, you'll be able to play a single player and 2-player co-op, regardless of the rumors that were floating around that it was going to be 4-player co-op. They did confirm it is just 2-player, and kind of in the same breath, they also announced that the PS4 and Xbox One versions of the game are canceled. Now, Court, I feel like we're about to have an interesting discussion here. So I'm gonna throw the ball to you first. What did you think about the gameplay trailer?
So I like Batman. This is not a. I even have Batman #1 with the first appearance of the Court of Owls right over my shoulder there.
Nice.
It looked amazing to me. I thought Red Hood looked a little slow, which surprised me. There's a part that was bothering me, and I've watched the trailer actually 3 separate times to see if it was different. And I went back and watched older ones. I don't know if you noticed, but every time they brought up the map, they only brought up the map when they were in the headquarters.
I didn't notice that.
They also, anytime they did any upgrades on the character, it was in the headquarters. And the way they were wording it is like that you have to be in the headquarters to do such things. I'm really hoping that is not the case, because that right away would take me away from the game. That the fact that I've got to like anthem it up and go do things outside when I would rather just be able to pull up the map. I truly believe that the map will be, you just press the center of the DualSense and the map pops up. It would be really weird if it didn't, but they just kept going back to the computer to pull up the map and do the upgrades. the fact that everybody has their own vehicles. I really love Nightwing's skiff in the air. I also really like the different play styles for each character. So from what we saw of Barbara Gordon in the very first trailer, when they announced it at E3, that showed the different playing styles. She's more of an all-around, and then I felt that Nightwing was more of the stealth, and then I felt you have the brute in Red Hood, and then Robin's going to be like your thief, your acrobat, you're going to have your different type of character to use. I'm very curious to know, and I've looked and I haven't seen any answers, that if I can do any mission with any character.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I is someone a fan of the comics, I'm pretty sure for me, I would try out all the characters, but I'm probably going to go Nightwing and Barbara Gordon as like my mains that I would use the most. I do like the fact that you can call them in, but like if we're doing tag teams and I've got them in, I'm going to have Barbara Gordon and Nightwing and just rotate. Like do the stealth, but if I want to go in and just kick some butt, Barbara Gordon. Like that's to me Red Hood, because his bullets are passive and they're not real. Which, and I get it. As Pez said on Three Dads, like what would you do in a combo? Red Hood would just be killing everybody. And someone was like, well, that doesn't happen. I'm like, well, maybe read a Batman comic. Many people die a lot. So for me, everything I saw looked amazing. I do see a lot of potential for microtransactions, which is yikesies to me, but we'll see. I get it, especially with WB and what's going on with them. I expect microtransactions in this game. I really do. I expect, different skins on the characters, different skins on your vehicles. I expect a lot of them.
So real quick, I think they actually did update it saying that the game will not have any microtransactions.
Really? Like
apparently,
before or after? Okay. All right. I don't get it because like you have like they've put it in every game, right?
Warner Brothers Montreal confirmed that it will not have any microtransactions.
Then I'm the happiest man in the world.
Yeah, or it will not require a permanent online connection to play the single player campaign. So it looks like you're not going to be railroaded into it. See, I don't know, dude. I left this trailer a little nervous. I got slight Avengers vibes from some of the gameplay.
Ooh, I didn't get those vibes at all.
For me, like the combat looked a little sluggish and a little choppy. And like
I'll give you that. On the Red Hood boss battle, I was like, yikes.
And like the traversal for me, like just seems a bit slow, especially when they do like the whole like Nightwing flying down thing. It's like it looks like he's moving quite slowly through. And
Batman did that in the other Arkhams, right? Because instead of having to do that, people who are audio listeners have just lost the whole visual of me showing Batman flying through the air,
dolphining through the air.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Do you think, my question to you is, now that we know that Starfield is not going to be here and Redfall is not going to be here, yeah, you were right. Yeah, get over it. Well, you weren't right. You guessed, and you guessed correct. Do you think this game hits bigger, right? So this is coming the day before my birthday, everybody, just to let all the Carpool gaming community know, this game comes out on October 25th. My birthday is on October 26th, so if someone would like to give me a birthday gift, like that's Warner Brothers.
Especially that special collector's edition with that trophy, that's 400 Canadian dollars.
Jesus, I can't. No. Oh my God. I wanted that so bad. Then when I was like, oh, it's only $2 US, that's amazing. Oh, we're just going to double that for Canadians. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Really? You always got to stick it to us.
I don't know. To answer your question, I really don't know. Like, I feel like this game to me, the more that I look at it, looks like it's going to be like a 7 to a 7.5.
Fair enough.
And like the looking at the what's it called? The accessory and like, the accessory screens and like the loot screen. I was just kind of like, oh no, I don't like this UI. I'm again having flashbacks to Avengers, which like I liked the main campaign of the Avengers as a perfect no, but again, I'm a more Marvel guy than DC. So I think similarly people will connect with this.
Did you like the campaign until all of a sudden they got to the Hulk and then they went on to this other path and Kamala Khan was no longer this thing that we used and I was just confused? Is that because like the original Avengers, the campaign was phenomenal until you meet Iron Man, still cool, and then all of a sudden Kamala Khan is no longer a thing you use and you're like, hold on a second, I built up this whole like thing about her and learning all these things, and then you're like, oh, she's just gonna go sit on the aircraft carrier over here. And you're gonna go do other things. Yeah. I get what you're saying because I do have my fear about the upgrade system and Which is also how I'm so surprised about the no microtransactions. Like it's honestly
Likewise.
blowing my mind right now because watching that trailer, all I saw was a micro. Like, okay, you're already saying the pre-order gives me a skin for my motorcycle.
Mhm.
That's just tell. You know what they could be doing? They could be doing what they've done in a lot of the other Arkham games, where they add them in after. Like I paid 99 cents to get the 89 Batman skin.
Okay, that might be it. I like it could even be one of those things that's like, I don't know, could they even possibly take like the battle pass route? That wouldn't exactly be strictly like a battle pass like you would see in Fortnite, but maybe, take out this many enemies with Nightwing
Like
and
Lego games do, where you get all the character packs.
kind of, yeah. Like, is that a direction that they could go in? And I mean, like, that's not necessarily microtransactions. They could spin that as expansions. They could spin that exactly as character packs. There's different things that they could kind of spin that as. But like, I don't know. I hope I'm wrong because like a new Batman game, especially in this world, like I love Barbara Gordon. Like she would be my main 100%. Like I would really love to be wrong, and I hope this game does hit. What do you think about them canceling the PS4 and Xbox One versions of the game?
I think it's about darn time.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
It's about darn time.
I am 100%
So
with
for
you.
me, we both have very expensive machines.
Mm-hmm.
I have an Xbox Series X and I have a PlayStation 5.
Mm-hmm.
I want to play Unreal Engine 5, 120 frames per second, VRR supported, Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision, um, surround sound, Sony. I don't want to play, oh, what version am I playing game anymore?
Right.
I don't want to play that anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
want I'm sorry, and I get it, and not everybody can afford it. Nope. I want the best version possible of this game. And I think they've learned possibly from Cyberpunk. I still believe if Cyberpunk was only next gen only, we would have had a better version of the game.
I agree. I think it would have been. I do think that like the one thing that kind of caused me a bit of concern that like maybe this was a more recent decision than not is like graphically I thought it looked good. I didn't think it looked incredible. Like it didn't look like a true like next gen only. That one does still look like a cross gen title that was trying to appeal to both. So I don't know. I would rather them, just take their time with it and put out a great game. Because like I saw some people hyped and I saw some people being like, no, dude, this doesn't look good. And I think that there's room for both of those things to exist. And I hope they nail it. I would love for them to nail it because again, those characters are cool and that world is cool. And I just hope it's this
So,
landing.
question for you.
Mm.
We normally get whatever's going to be game of the year. Like everybody's saying it's Elden Ring right now,
Mm-hmm.
but now that we have no Starfield, we know this.
Mm-hmm. We know this court.
Yeah. So that is not in the way. Do you think God of War Ragnarok comes out this year, or does that get delayed?
I could see it going either way. I could see that being a November game, but I could see that being an April game of next year. Like
Same.
it's
I don't think it's coming.
like I again like totally
If you're Sony
understand.
now, right?
Yeah.
Do you need to? Do you
Well,
need to bring it out?
well, and that's the thing, and like we are like, I mean, if that, whenever we see that Last of Us, like they will have more games coming out. We have no idea what they're doing for the pretty much the entire back half of this year, with outside of Forspoken, which was delayed out of this month of May. So like I don't know. For me, it's like it's gonna be God of War. It's going to be The Last of Us, or it's going to be Final Fantasy 16, which again I think could hit this year as well.
I think it's gonna be the Last of Us remake
Mm-hmm.
and not God of War. I think if you're Sony, you probably originally were like, okay, we could probably crunch it. And Cory Barlog and his team make, God of War is one of my favorite games of all time.
Mm-hmm.
The remake.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah,
The comeback story. It's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, Calliope. It's just very good. I could, if you're Sony and you know that Xbox is going to, and this is a real thing because we have streaming services now and Sony's going to have their streaming service.
Mm-hmm.
Do you look at the market and go, okay, well, do we push them to make this game good to go? Like, is it on pace? If it's ready to go, you put it out. Like
Mm-hmm.
you just put it out and you crush November and you put out God of War. And if it's anything like the first one, it'll be game of the year and it's all anybody will talk about and you own the conversation. But do you do that knowing that, quite possibly Starfield drops in January?
And that's the thing. Do we remember? I can't remember off the top of my head. Did they confirm that God of War was still going to be cross-gen? They said that it will be, right?
I'll double check, but I think they did say
I
it would
think they
be.
did say that. So like then I don't know. For me, if it was going to be only next gen, then I would even argue maybe hold it till April or May of next year when maybe the supply chain issues are not as rampant. And again, like anybody who picks up a PS5 is going to be picking up God of War.
Well,
Those things would fly.
actually, that tells me if it's going to be, will be last cross-gen game. So God of War
So there you go.
is going to be, so you know what? I think it does come out in November.
That's what I mean.
Oh man, it's gonna burn me.
If
I picked that as my counter pick. It's coming out.
if it's cross gen, then they have no reason to wait to to hold it
You're
back.
right.
Right? They're just
It actually would hurt it.
exactly like they have a massive install base on PS4. A lot of people would rush out to play it and then probably play it again on the PS5 anyway. So, I don't know.
Hundred
Dude.
percent correct. So Sony is poised to own the holiday.
And I think the one thing that could stop them from owning this holiday season is whatever we don't know is coming from Nintendo. If they have a Mario or a Zelda in their cards, like that could be
Well, what about Metroid Prime 4 comes? Oh no, they've already said that's not.
no,
So,
that's
no.
yeah, no, it's nowhere close. But like, I mean, like if they haven't, and I think it'd have to be one of those. It'd have to be a new Metroid, sorry, a new Mario or a new Zelda, and then we get into some interesting conversation. But otherwise, and like if either one of those things are imminent, nobody knows. I think you're right. I think PlayStation could own the back half of this year.
Yeah, because third parties are on both consoles,
Mhm.
unless Xbox makes some crazy deal with day and date on Game Pass type thing. Like
True.
it this could happen. Batman could be cross platform, obviously, but Xbox right now is like, okay, we got nothing coming.
Mhm.
We got an event in June. We're gonna show Starfield gameplay. We put it in that's happening.
Yep.
We'll see Starfield in June. We'll probably see Redfall as well, and we won't get announcements. We won't get dates, and if we do, we know it's not till 2023 regardless.
Yep.
But they could come up and be like, "Well, we just took a dump truck of money. Warner Brothers needs that money. We know they do. They want to license out their IPs anyways. They want to sell the studios,
Mhm.
and you can go out and play Gotham Knights on your PlayStation, or it's day and date on Game Pass.
So
I think that's their only play they have right now.
I
I truly think that's. I'm not saying that game. I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
Xbox's play right now is if they've got nothing coming, and we'll find out in a couple weeks, then they need to go get something day and date on Game Pass.
and I
Like
agree.
Harry Potter, or no, Harry Potter can't be. It's a PlayStation advertised game.
So, and that's what I mean. Like, if PlayStation is already in bed with WB as we see them with Hogwarts, do we possibly see Hogwarts and possibly even Gotham Knights launch day and date on PlayStation Plus instead? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like PlayStation is getting aggressive, and like
Especially if Call of Duty launches on Game Pass, right?
that's what I'm saying, dude. Right? Like,
You know what? And it's always been that way because was it Arkham had the Joker levels way back in the it's always Rocksteady has always been with PlayStation.
They have
because I
been.
remember on PlayStation 3 I got to play as the Joker and you couldn't do that on Xbox.
yeah. So, and that's
Like I bought both versions because I'm crazy.
I mean, yeah. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, dude. Like, I like with PlayStation Plus launching in a month. Like, I feel like, and like a lot of especially like Jeff
Dude,
Grubb
it's
and a lot
launching.
of and insiders talking about how aggressive PlayStation is getting to like get games on that service. Do we
I
get?
hope so. Honestly, I want what we're seeing. And I know some people don't like this. I want them to be okay. This one's on this service and this one's on the service because as a consumer, thank you.
Yeah, I'm on both
Thank
services
you.
anyway, and it's like it doesn't prevent you from playing it on the other platform. You just got to pay for it. Which I mean, again,
I play MLB The Show on my Xbox and I on my PlayStation.
there you go.
And I would say 50-50 at this point because the only reason my Xbox gets some playtime is because my PlayStation is downstairs. So if I had two PlayStations, then I wouldn't have an issue. I would only play it on PlayStation because MLB The Show to the list runs better on PlayStation. Like, and it's not even a little bit of a difference. The game runs better on the PlayStation 5.
There you go.
It just does.
All right, my friend. Let's wrap with a couple PlayStation stories before we let some other of our friends into the car. We have two PlayStation stories we're going to hit on. One of which is coming from IGN, written by Ryan Dinsdale. PlayStation is putting 300 million more into first-party games and aiming for "quote-unquote" multiple platforms. Sony is investing a further 300 million into its first-party studios as a two-pronged strategy to grow its gaming business, alongside releasing games on "quote-unquote" multiple platforms. So there we go. I mean, they're working. They're putting more money into first party, which is like, already wild considering how much their games cost. Does that mean multiple platforms? Are they getting more aggressive in their PC market, which seems to be what they're doing,
Yes. A
right?
thousand times yes. We talked about this.
A couple weeks
You and
ago.
I, so yeah, I was gonna say we didn't talk. I positive I had the conversation with you, and I was like, actually, the DualSense works on the PC now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just works. Like they were like blog post, DualSense works on PC. You don't make the DualSense work on the PC
Mm-hmm.
if you're not planning. Now my question to you is, do they day and date first party games?
Nope, they won't.
And I think that's a mistake if they don't do it. I think it's a mistake.
I think they're still looking at PC. I think they have the similar mindset for PC as they do as their streaming service. I think they will come to the streaming service and they will come to PC, but it'll be 6 months to a year after it launches on PS5 first. And then they'll be like, okay, now God of War Ragnarok is on PlayStation Plus and it's out on PC. I don't see them.
Fair enough.
I don't see them day and dating their first party lineup because they're still very aggressively. I mean, they're sinking 300 million more into it, right? Like they're very much more like this is the place where you play our games and you can play them again later somewhere else.
Do you think PlayStation Plus comes to PC? Like how Xbox Game Pass is a PC version?
Yeah, PlayStation Now works on PC right now.
Well, I know I understand that, but like I'm talking about, will we get the PC version of that game? I mean, like, okay,
I see what you
so
mean.
if you're on Game Pass right now, you can go to PC
Yep.
and you can play the PC version
Yes.
of the game, not just the Xbox Series X version. You can play the PC version of the game. So it's like
Yeah.
mint, right? Like Flight Simulator, for example. Do you think we're gonna get, the God of War PC version on there?
I think so. I think that
Okay. I hope so.
I think
I
that will
truly
be the
hope
play.
so.
And especially because like if the, I mean I hope so. I hope you're right, but I can also see them not doing that and being like whatever you get is whatever
Sony,
you
man.
get. But like I mean I think it's such an easy sell to be like God of War Ragnarok is now on PlayStation Plus. You can stream it, you can download it. It's available today on the service, and the PC version is also available today. You can buy it or sign up for the subscription service and play it here. I think that might be the direction that they take it to add value to people who, to get people in on the ecosystem, regardless of where they're at. So I don't know. And I mean, like them sinking an extra 300 million in, I'm curious to see where that money is going to go in their first party games because they're already at such a high caliber graphics, gameplay, like across the board. They kind of hit it out of the park, regardless of what they're working on. So I'm curious to see how that money is going to be used. And
You played God of War on PC, correct?
I did, yeah.
How amazing was it?
Amazing, dude. It was incredible.
Was it was it noticeable difference between the
Yes.
console and the okay.
Yeah, yeah. And like it really, really was. Sean and I actually did a talk about it. Like we did an extra mile on it a few months ago. So if anybody's curious to hear our kind of full thoughts on that, check that out there. But yeah, dude, I would love to them. I want them to continue to get more aggressive into it. I want them to be more there. Because again, just opens up more doors for people. Let's wrap with one last PlayStation story, my friend, before we get into the carpool. Coming from Eurogamer, written by Tom Phillips. Sony misses PS5 sales target as stock struggles continue. Sony has now shipped 19.3 million PS5 consoles worldwide to date, while another 2
Which is
million
unreal.
while another 2 million shipped during the last financial quarter. However, these figures are lower than expected by 3.3 million consoles, following warnings by Sony it was struggling to get a hold of components. Sony had hoped to ship 14.8 million PS5 consoles in the past financial year because they were trying to match, if not outpace, the number of PS4 sold, but they were not able to do so because of the issues with the supply chain and the issue with components. So, hopefully that will continue. I mean, not hopefully that'll continue. Hopefully that will not be a problem, but I think it will be for at least another year. I don't think it will be until like late 2023 that this is no longer an issue. If that.
Yeah, I work in the supply chain, in the manufacturing side of it. I was on a meeting the other day, and for our side, and we work in plastics. We don't see a light at the end of the tunnel till like February or March
Of next year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we say these things about Sony, and we gotta put a caveat on that if they could make them, people would buy them.
Mm-hmm.
I truly think, like, look at Xbox now. They have more of a supply out there. They were out there for a little bit, and now they're gone again. But I saw one in the wild. I saw an Xbox Series X in the wild.
Mm-hmm.
It was there for a day because the next day I went back to Walmart for something else for my kid, and that thing was gone. But it was there. It was on a shelf. It's gone. I truly think that we're in unprecedented times, solely based on the supply chain right now, but also in unprecedented times that if they would have made 25 million consoles, they would have sold 25 million consoles.
Yep, 100%.
Like, not even thinking twice.
Yeah, I'm with you entirely there. I just like they literally cannot make them fast enough at this point. Even still, like people are like, I mean, what Epic Games has like a promotion going on for you to get in line to be able to buy one. Like
The source, you have to be a customer of Bell to get one right now.
exactly, yeah, which is like invite only. So like they literally cannot make them fast enough. So I hope that like I'm curious to see what the first year on market that they're readily available, what that year looks like, because I think those sales like are just going to completely destroy for the amount of people who are just hearing about it at that time, for the amount of people who maybe there's a game that they're interested at that point, or for the people who are trying to buy in because they've been trying to buy in and there's a whole backlog of stuff they want to play. It's going to be huge. That year for them is going to be massive.
I wouldn't be surprised that by the time we finally can get them readily available, Sony's launching the PS5 Pro.
And that's my question to
Like,
you.
we know what's coming,
Yeah,
right? Like
100%.
that's coming.
There's no doubt about that. And that's my next question then. As we kind of end on news, do you think that they could possibly be looking at different components for a PS5 Pro to kind
100%.
of avoid this problem again?
100. What I don't know if it's avoidable, the problem, because no one could have foreseen this
For
coming.
sure, yeah.
As someone that just bought a new car, and I bought it 2 months ago, and I won't get it till October. Like, even the auto industry is crippled right now.
Yeah.
Mind you, the whole blockchain thing and what's ever going on with crypto and all that, and that kind of just in the last few weeks, maybe that'll help, and no one's be eating up all these components. But we'll see. But I think we're gonna get the PS5 Pro sooner rather than later. And it will be interesting. It could be some people's first PS5 because they hadn't been able to get anything, and they'll end up getting a Pro first. I still don't understand what the Pro is just going to be 4K 120 no matter what.
Probably
Up to 8K.
Probably. Like
which is
the one big question about what the Pro could do as well is like we still don't know. Like, I mean, the PSVR 2's release date, and I mean, that was part of the big thing from the PS4 to the PS4 Pro is the bump that it gave you with VR. That was also inherently part of it. So, like, that could be something that they're considering as well. And I mean, think about it. If they drop the PS5 Pro, you're going to have the digital, the disc, and the PS5 Pro available to you. There will be a number of people trading in their PS5s to get the PS5 Pro. And I mean, like, there's going to be so many of them available in the wild at that point that, like, hopefully people will be able to buy them early or buy them when they want. But then it's just going to be a big fight for the PS5 Pro.
Yep. I want one.
I do too. PlayStation.
So I wanted to throw in, I know it's not in the news story, but
yeah.
Do you think Sony will have to compete with the rumored Stream Stick that probably will get announced in a couple weeks?
The Xbox Stream Stick?
Yeah. Like, do you think that is a competitor? Is it even a competitor to Sony?
I don't think it will be. Honestly, I think that like because Xbox Game Pass is already so readily available across everywhere, across phones, across everything.
And it's only got 25 million, maybe 30, we don't know.
Yeah,
but
like
25 we know of.
Exactly. So like I feel like that is really going to be, and I mean like you can even stream games to like your potato PC now, right? So like I personally have a hard time understanding who that is for, and I feel like that's almost going to go the way of like the PS Vita TV. Where like, like people bought it and people used it, but like how many people bought it and used it?
It's kind of funny. You go back to the PS4 era. They were actually at the beginning of the PS4. Sony was ahead of the game. If they released things like that now, it would actually hit more. The Vita would be unbelievable and probably 100%. Unstoppable. And the PS Vita TV, PlayStation TV would actually be amazing because people would be like, well, because so many people are into video games now, people would be like, well, you have your service and I can, when I go on vacation, I just hook this up. I don't have to bring my console.
Yep. I think what's more lucrative than the stick is that Samsung app that they're talking about and stuff now. Like if you can get a TV and it comes pre-installed with Xbox Game Pass and you can just stream the game directly to your TV without needing anything else, I think that is the more lucrative kind of sell than another like dongle that you have to buy and put in.
Fair enough.
But I guess we will see, my friend. Let's let a couple of our friends into the car. We have a couple questions coming from Twitter this week. The first one coming from Mr. Graham the Golden at GTM618. Graham has a couple questions for us, so let's start with the first one. If Bloodborne got a 60 frames per second update or remaster, would Court play it?
No.
See, Court, you know why? Because you have good taste.
No, it's honestly, it has nothing to do with, it has everything to do with, I tried playing that game. It's just not for me. There's nothing I can go, I love you, Gamer Graham, but there's nothing that's gonna to get me back and try that game again. I just know it's not for me, and I know it is for a lot of people, and that's awesome.
Yep.
And I'm glad. I'm that's one thing I know it's a trope, but that's one thing I love about video games. There's a game for everybody. There's games that you love, there's games that I love. There's games that everybody should love, and that's the best part, but this game is definitely not for me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Bloodborne, I tried to get into it. It just never really clicked for me. Soulsborne as a whole, like I've played a lot of Elden Ring, but I fell off just because of other stuff. I do want to go back to it to try and finish it. But yeah, I don't know. If a I know a lot of people.
I'll never play Elden Ring unless it was free.
Well, I mean, there you go. One more question from Graham the Golden. Do you think we will get Horizon Forbidden West 3 or a side game, something along the lines of Spider-Man Miles Morales?
I think we'd get more of the side game.
Well, I mean, we already know Call of the Mountain is coming to PSVR.
Well, we're getting the VR, right?
Yeah.
We are getting the VR, but I don't think that's our Frozen Wilds. Because, like, if you think about the Frozen Wilds for Horizon Forbidden Zero Dawn, Jesus, see how for Zero Dawn, that was a very large chunk of game.
It was.
I really hope it's not like what they did with Frozen Wilds, where Frozen Wilds took place halfway through the game. Like the fact that we went back in and like it didn't take place after, it didn't take place before, it took place during the middle of the game that you had already done the whole story of.
Yeah.
I always found that to be weird and didn't just joined it, didn't like it. My hope is we get some sort of prequel, 4-hour prequel of everything on how the world ended.
That would be cool. I think what I would also want out of it, and like I'm not the biggest fan of this character, but like I mean, slight spoilers for Forbidden West, but just how little we saw of what's his name, Silence in Forbidden West. I would love to see an expansion, maybe focusing on what he was doing.
Yeah, well, yeah,
like,
over on the side there,
on the side, right? Because like the way that Forbidden West ends, like I don't think you could set an expansion after that game, because that seems like that would be like the full focus on whatever's coming next. But I'd love to see, like, you know, assuming he's going to be more integral to the plot moving forward, I'd love to see like a side, you know, give me a side story focused on him. What was he up to? Where did he go? And
you know what? That would be awesome, because then maybe we would like him more.
Exactly.
Because throughout the story, he's kind of a dick.
Yeah, I don't like him.
And that's the nicest way to say it. But anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be nice.
It'd be nice.
I don't want to spoil anything. I think you're bang on. That would be very good, because then we would learn how he was controlling the machines and doing this and doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this and that because I don't want to say things.
Of course.
That would be very cool. I like that idea.
And
I really like him as an actor.
Yes, likewise. Yeah, he's an incredible actor. So like for me, like I think that would be like, I might not like him by the end of his expansion, but at least I'd understand him more, I think. So like I would like that. I would like that opportunity. If they do that, I don't know, but
and it gives us a different look.
100%.
Yeah, it would just give us a different vibe, because we've played a lot of Aloy.
Exactly. And like, I mean, you know, for whatever comes next will be a very much an Aloy story. So
well, where haven't we been? We were in California. Well, we were in Seattle. We've done a lot of the West Coast. We haven't gone over to like Boston.
Let's go to Canada.
Well, you know what? As someone that Ubisoft is in Canada, and I'm still to this day just so darn confused that we've never got a game like in Montreal or Toronto. I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
Oh, and also this week, I don't know, for the listeners, it looks like Watch Dogs is never coming back.
Probably not. I mean,
he's dead.
I can't surprise. That doesn't surprise me too much. One last question coming from Mr. Nagachaka over at Twitter. Which PlayStation game?
Sexiest man alive, by the way.
I believe it. Which PlayStation game, console, event, or moment made you realize you were PlayStation fans? For me, it was playing Uncharted 2 on the PS3.
Uncharted 1 on the PS3.
Uncharted 1 on the PS3.
I was Xbox 360 all the way. I lost my job and I was home. And I didn't know what to do. And I had nothing new to play on my 360. And I went to the local mom and grab shop down the street. And I bought a PS3. And I hadn't had a PlayStation since PlayStation 1. And I was like, oh, Mike. And a friend of mine was like, you of all people, you love Indiana Jones. You love Tomb Raider. Go get a PS3. And Uncharted 2 just came out. And he was like, go get a PS3, get Uncharted 1, get Uncharted 2, get Infamous, and nothing else.
Yep.
He's like, don't buy anything else, don't play anything else, but start Uncharted 1 first, then play Infamous, and then go to Uncharted 2. I was like, okay. He's like, Uncharted 3 is coming out soon, and Infamous 2 is coming out soon, so it'll get you where you need to go. I'm like, all right. I remember I started Uncharted 3 at like, I bought the PlayStation. The store opened at 11. I got the PlayStation around like noon. I stopped playing Uncharted at like 4 o'clock in the morning because I couldn't put it down.
Yeah.
I could not put that game down. I was enthralled in it. And I was just like, oh my God. I didn't play Infamous next. I went straight from Uncharted 1 right into Uncharted 2.
As you do. You got to do it.
Now, I definitely, my early PlayStation days were definitely NHL 90. Peter Forsberg was on the front. I think it was 95 or 96. And then Metal Gear Solid VR games. I used to love those games.
Nice, yeah.
But I fell off and went Xbox for a bit.
And you came back around. So, wherever you like to play is wherever you like to play.
Exactly.
As for myself, my first PlayStation, like I got the PS1 as a gift from my parents. And I remember just falling in love with like Crash and Spyro. And like, I think the first game that I was like actually looking forward towards was Crash 2. But I think it wasn't until like the PS2 days with stuff like Kingdom Hearts, with stuff like Ratchet and Clank, with stuff like Jak and Daxter, that I was like, I love to play here. Like I remember having like my blue translucent memory card, and I would take that thing with me everywhere. And just like the amount of joy that I got out of the PS2 just kind of cemented PlayStation as like my go-to. And it has been ever since, through every misstep, through every victory. It's been an amazing place to play, and I love doing it, which is why I love doing the show with you, Court, to talk about all things PlayStation. I
got my PlayStation 1 behind us.
There you go. There, look at that. It's so beautiful. But that, my friend, brings us to the end of the show. But before we go, Court, where can people find more of you?
You can find me on Twitter at Court Lalonde, and I have my link tree there. And you can also find me at our Carpool Gaming Twitter, because I do the heads of socials. And you can find me pretty much anything Carpool Gaming related. I am everywhere and all places.
All the things. As for myself, you can find me over on Twitter at burnout_Matt, where you can see me being right about games. And then you can also find us at youtube.com/burnoutbrighter. We have a new mental health series going on for the month of May for Mental Health Awareness Month. We're going to have some developers on to talk about some cool stuff. So come hang out with us there as well. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of the show. Make sure you go to patreon.com/carpoolgaming. Make sure you go to youtube.com/carpoolgaming. Hit us with all of those 5 stars wherever you can find us. Thank you so much for listening. And we will see you on the next one. Peace out.
The PlayStation Drive is fueled by the Patreons who truly make us believe that anything is possible. And we'd like to thank the more than 90 patrons who support us each and every month at patreon.com/carpoolgaming. With a special thanks to our ultimate producers, Mostly Martinez, Dano, Emily O'Kelly, Dallas Ford, Trucker Soth, Jonathan Brown, who has a new album, In My Element, on Spotify and Apple Music, Drew Agnew, who is the host of the House of Mario podcast, Lee Navarro, who is the leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team. The links are in the show notes. Please support these ultimate producers. Platinum producers, Brendan Myers, Becky Ruben Navarro, Skinny Matt, Robbie Bobby Miller. And then our gold members, Tom 4 NKS, Slicely Carosa, Anna W, The Snack Network, Foolish Fuji, Mr. and Mrs. Nasty Boots, Tony Baker, Mac Time, RJ Kern, Jose Jimenez, Ashley Nichols, Argo, Marcus O'Neill, and Dallas Robbins. To support the PlayStation Drive and get some awesome perks, go to patreon.com/carpoolgaming and select the tier that